It's been a bit since I made a video on this channel, so I want to talk about what's actually happening right now to the US housing market. I feel there's been a lot of changes and a lot of anxiety about what's really happening right now. There's talks about a recession coming potentially. We have a lot of uncertainty regarding our market. So I want to talk about what's happening right now. I want to take a deep dive into inventory, and also I'm going to share what I'm seeing being a realtor here in the greater Sacramento area, what I'm personally seeing as well. So the first article I want to share with you guys is from ResiClubAnalytics.com, a really good website going over market trends. They do an amazing job. So in any case, they actually just posted this about a week ago. It says 12 states are now above pre-pandemic levels. So the big story I would say this year is that inventory is rising. It's getting closer to pre-COVID levels for the US as a whole, but there's 12 states that are higher compared to 2019. And that, of course, is one of the main reasons why we're seeing home price growth softening. And on top of that, price declines in some areas like in Austin, Texas, for example. So according to them, they, by the way, they actually look at inventory numbers according to Realtor.com. So inventory is up by 25%. Also compared to pre-COVID levels back in 2019, we're down by 11%. So we're up by 25% year over year, but compared to pre-COVID levels, we're still down by 11%. Now here's a chart from Realtor.com. I love how they share inventory going all the way back until 2017. So right here is 2025. We're higher compared to any other month looking at post-COVID level, but lower than pre-COVID. So we should have around 1.25 million on average during the same time frame. But right now we have 1.1 million. I'll be honest, I stated several months ago that I wouldn't be surprised to see that on a national level, we would have more inventory compared to pre-COVID, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're probably going to get really close to 2019 once we hit December though. All right, I do want to share what's going on in the Sacramento market. I know you guys are located all over the US and in different countries as well, but what we're seeing here in Sacramento is very, very close to what we're seeing in other parts of the country. So first I want to share this with you guys. So this is the inventory growth rate compared to July of 2024. And this actually kind of surprises me. Nevada actually posted the biggest gain year over year, whereas Texas is only about half that gain, up by 24%. Same goes for Florida. The big story though is that compared to 2019, entirely different story. In California, we're up by 36%. Now here's a look at inventory compared to July of 2019. Remember how Nevada was up by over 50%. It's basically flat compared to 2019 though. However though, look at Texas, up by 32%. So they have 141,000 homes for sale as of the end of July this year, compared to July of 2019, 107,000. So quite a bit higher compared to pre-COVID. Also, Florida's at up by 23.5, 174,000 homes for sale compared to only 135,000 in 19. We're also seeing big increases of inventory in Washington, up by 31, Arizona up by 30%, Colorado up by 30%, Utah 23%, Idaho up by 22%, Tennessee saw a gain of 28.7%. In contrast, in Oregon, they're flat, but they're up by 2% in Nebraska and Oklahoma. In stark contrast, look at Connecticut. They're down by a staggering 71.2%. Only 5,120 houses for sale compared to nearly 18,000 back in July of 2019, which makes sense that much of the Northeast are still experiencing big gains in prices as well. When we have a look at each of the metros though, take a look at this. We're seeing big gains from 2019. In Denver, up by 48%. San Antonio up by 44%. Austin, a huge increase, up by 64%. Probably a strong buyer's market there. Memphis up by nearly 50%. Punta Gorda is doubled or has twice as many houses for sale from 2019. In contrast, in the greater Sacramento area, we're down by 3.2%. approximately 5,700 homes for sale as of the end of July, according to Realtor.com, compared to just over 5,800 in July of 19. So in regards to the Sacramento market, again, it's very similar to other parts of the country. Here is our local MLS. And what I really love about our MLS, or our multiple listing service, which is the service that agents list homes for sale, and then once your seller accepts an offer, it becomes a pending sale. And of course, it closes about 20 to 30 days later. And that all that information gets syndicated to Redfin, Realtor.com, Zillow, etc. In any case, what I really love about the MLS, which one field on here does not get syndicated to those other websites, is the number of offers received. This gives me a clear indication regarding how competitive our market is or not, right? So here's a look at this. I actually just looked at the greater Sacramento area, all pending home sales. There's approximately 891 pending sales right now. So as a listing agent, the seller's agent, once your seller accepts an offer, then you mark it pending, and also you're supposed to mark how many offers were received. Not all agents do this, but just looking here. So here's one offer, right? Looking at this column right here. One offer. Look how many houses that are under contract with a buyer only have one offer received. Going. Then we have two offers received. And for the most part, 1 to 2 offers received. In fact, the most offers received is, I was going to say only 19 offers for this property. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, only 8 properties out of 891 that have more than 10 offers received. This is so much different compared to 2022. The spring home buying season was absolutely insane. Back then, home sellers were getting about 6 offers per property. There was one that received 127 offers on one single house. And back then, just to give you an idea how unhealthy the market was then. I mean, I know the market's unhealthy now, but it's better than, trust me, compared to early 2022. As a buyer's agent, having a client who wanted to look at a house, if I didn't call the agent within about 2 hours of a home being listed for sale, I would not even have the opportunity to tour the home with my client because all the appointments would be filled up. They would be booked with appointments to look at the house. So it was a very unhealthy market. I know that now we have elevated rates, elevated home prices, but prices overall have been relatively flat here in Sacramento for several years. Not a lot of movement over the past several years, which of course is much better. And of course, a lot more houses for sale as well, which is causing more options for buyers. I'll talk a little bit more regarding what's happening in the US as a whole here. But if you guys are all also interested in the Sacramento region, I don't go over Sacramento updates on this channel because I know a lot of people are located outside of Sacramento and you really could care less about the market there. I have a second YouTube channel. You guys may have seen it. It's called Sacramento Home Goals. Take a look at that. I go over market updates in the greater Sacramento area, new build tours, neighborhood tours, etc. So have a look at that if you are interested in buying or selling in my neck of the woods. I realize that a lot of people are not interested in that content. So therefore I post more national updates in Florida, Texas, and California on this channel. Okay, let's also talk about foreclosures because of course, if you guys see videos on YouTube, maybe news headlines, foreclosures are spiking and the housing market is going to crash worse than 2008. Leave me a comment below if you guys have seen those videos and reports. Not reports, articles and YouTube videos. So let's kind of like look at the data and make a conclusion based on are we seeing a giant spike in foreclosures or not? So this is Q2 of 2025. The source is a New York Fed. And this chart is compiled by ResiClubAnalytics.com. So foreclosures actually decreased compared to Q1 of 2025, decrease. But we are still higher compared to Q2 of 2024 though. We have been seeing this kind of steady increase of foreclosures ever since the moratorium ended, 2 or 3 years ago? And we saw a spike in foreclosures in Q1 this year due to the fact that the VA foreclosure moratorium expired as well. So just kind of taking a step back here, foreclosures are rising slowly over the past several years. But looking at this compared to the run-up of the Great Recession, we had around 150,000 foreclosures compared to around, 60,000 now? Also, during the peak, which occurred in 2009, Q2 of 2009, we had approaching 600,000 foreclosures in one single quarter. Now we have 60,000. So my question for you guys, are foreclosures spiking or not?